You've worked across debt, equity. How has that shaped your perspective to someone who maybe stayed in one lane?
Interviewing for jobs or doing something, I don't get, hit with the, oh, you didn't do, oh, you haven't had, oh, you don't know.
You had to stay focused.
In my opinion, you can't be a guy from inner city Philadelphia and not be a go-getter. It's like in our DNA.
All right, guys, welcome back, man. Nylz, good to see you again.
Yes, man. Take two.
Take two, my brother. Take two. All right, so for the people who may not know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Nylz Reyes, born in New York, raised in Philadelphia, East Mount Airy, Germantown, West Oak Lane, to be exact, shout out. And yeah, so I grew up in Philly most of my life. I am the oldest of five to a single mother household here in Philadelphia. So I ended up going to, just to kind of fast forward, I went to an HBCU.
Awesome.
I went to North Carolina A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Aggie pride. Aggie pride. Aggie pride.
And I believe you're an HBCU grad as well.
Shout out to Dell State. Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to Dell. So there's a lot of HBCU love on this platform, which is something I want to highlight as I go on.
Absolutely.
But after graduating from North Carolina A&T, I returned back to Philadelphia, help out my mom, and also I started my first career, which was in healthcare. So I ended up being an ICU nurse for a good part of my 20s.
Wow.
Yeah. And then what I ended up doing was, I was at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital.
Awesome.
So I did that for a few years there. And then somehow, some way, I got the bright idea to get into the commercial real estate industry.
Damn. Here we go again.
And that influence came from my involvement, or my experience at the hospital. I ended up going to NYU based on his advice, and they had a really strong master's in real estate program, so I got my master's there. But when I was in the program, I realized that here's another nuance to education. Education is great, but for some careers, experience is just as strong.
Okay.
So sure. some careers have the educational piece where you have to get your education, and it's okay to get your education and then get access into the industry. Those careers are typically like law school. Yeah. You could be a painter and go to law school and then get access through the law program.
For sure.
And they probably think it was nice that you're a painter, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Medicine. You can go to med school, had been a painter prior life, and then you get access to doing medical stuff. That's the culture, that's the pipeline they'll train you.
Yeah.
Commercial real estate, not so much. You can't be a painter, get a master's,
right,
and then expect to be on a high performing team.
Understood.
And that plays out for a lot of other career fields, right? Some way experience just as much as education. So I realized that, as well as I got advice on that. So I ended up.
How'd you get your first opportunity?
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm kind of going ahead of you. I'm on a roll here. I ended up pausing my program because I wanted to get the experience. Just going to be a healthcare professional with a real estate degree.
Sure.
My only option probably would have been the hospital, and that's just put all my eggs in one basket.
Right.
So I got a job leading into my healthcare background. I got a job at CRE. If you don't know who CRE is, they are the largest global servicing real estate company, in the world.
Awesome.
They're great. Great.
Huge.
It was a great opportunity, and so I started in Boston. So I had to move to Boston for the opportunity, and I was on the healthcare team. So on the healthcare team, I valued. So when I say healthcare team, I was on the healthcare evaluation team, and I was pretty much doing appraisals. So I was writing appraisal reports for a national coverage platform. So senior housing, medical office, hospitals, behavioral health facilities. I mean, you name it, healthcare. We were doing it across the country, and I was writing appraisal reports.
This sounds familiar to your background.
Exactly.
Connecting the dots there.
And also another nuance is some people say it doesn't matter, but I do think you have to find your edge. And plus, it's what I wanted to do. I didn't get into commercial real estate to be like something else. I went into at first to do something in the healthcare space, right? That was the goal.
Understood.
And what ended up happening was I worked there for about a year, and there was an opening in my hometown here, Philadelphia.
That's awesome.
So
Let's
I
go.
lateraled to Philly, and when I lateraled to Philly, I was given the opportunity to do all property types plus healthcare, because they're like, we don't really have a healthcare specialist on our team.
Okay.
We would love for you to join. And I kind of pushed for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to act like they invited me or give me. I saw it, I called, and we made it happen.
Walk us through that segue again. You know, you're right in CBRE, but you're moving back to Philadelphia. So
Yes.
that transition and connecting the dots from your experiences, and now getting more experience in the career field of your choice. So,
Yeah. So there's a lot of nuances in life, man,
For sure.
especially in careers and in jobs. So Philadelphia doesn't have that many seats available,
Okay.
especially at the highest level.
Understood.
And compared to a New York or Chicago or LA or even Atlanta, but Philly is only a handful of seats. So anyway, I got an opportunity to do appraisals on the valuation team, and I got the opportunity to do tons of industrial, because Philadelphia, it's like in the armpit of the Northeast. It's trash, where it serves. You got the DC and everything else below Mid-Atlantic, and then up top you got New York and Boston, et cetera. And we have a great ports here in the Philadelphia with the Philadelphia port system. So a bunch of access and a lot of land.
Okay.
In the Lehigh Valley, as some people are familiar with, and across the Delaware Valley. So anyway, I did tons of industrial, driving out in the middle of nowhere, PA.
Got it.
Touring buildings, and then getting back and trying to, get a report done before the deadline. Deadlines are always tight. But one thing I will say, and then obviously you did office, apartments, shopping centers, and then I had the healthcare specialty. So I was doing like double time, triple time.
For sure.
And it was I took a pay cut, because when I was a healthcare professional, I was making good money, especially after, as many years as I was working.
For sure.
And then when I started off as an appraiser, the starting pay was $44,000.
Understood.
So, I mean,
Significant take cut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like at least half, if not more than half of the income I've been making prior.
You really wanted this, man.
I wanted it,
You were
man.
going for it.
I wanted it. I had high dreams, and I'm a go-getter too. You know what I'm saying? You can't, in my opinion, you can't be a guy from inner city Philadelphia and not be a go-getter. It's like in our DNA.
Yeah.
Or in the Philly area.
it.
Privilege, I guess, for me at least. There was no privilege.
Yeah.
It was like I had to grind, had to get it
Hey, man.
out the mud.
There's a benefit
So
to get it out the mud.
It's a
Exactly.
benefit, and so it made me, or it brings a different
Grit.
grit, grind, and also work ethic, which I obviously exude.
Yeah.
And you could tell by my path as I keep on explaining my story.
1,000%.
Yeah. So then I was doing all property types with healthcare, did that for 2 years, and I was going to grad school. So I re-entered into my program once I found that I had the experience that people wanted.
Yeah.
Because one thing I'll say, and this is going a little deep, but it's funny how there's a narrative on DEI stuff,
Yeah, for sure.
but like the way I was brought up, I was always told you gotta do twice as much and work twice as hard.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the narrative is DI is someone that has less than.
Yeah.
Because I didn't come in thinking that somebody was going to take me with less than.
Right.
I came in thinking like, oh, I can't graduate without this. I can't not have these on my resume. They're not going to look at it. That was so somehow, some way, this all got like conflated or
Convoluted.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mention that.
There you go. Okay.
So once I felt that I had the proper experience or enough experience,
For sure.
and also I want to point out that I had to get into appraisal.
Okay.
It wasn't my first choice, but it was my only opportunity that I had because, look, man, a lot of brokers, top capital investment sales team, marketing, they weren't hiring me. I interviewed with most of them in Philadelphia. They didn't hire me.
Got it.
So I got an appraisal job. So I took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
So then I restarted my program at NYU, took the Amtrak from Philly to New York, banging out reports, getting out at 5, finishing reports on the train, going to class at 6, getting out at 9, getting back to Philly. I would be missing buses, missing trains, rain, sleet, snow.
You had to stay focused.
And I get back, and I would come back to Philly at 11 o'clock and go back to the office, go to my apartment. I was grinding, right?
Yeah.
And so I was in grad school for like a total of 5 years.
Understood.
And then I had 3 years of the commercial real estate experience that I needed. And my recruiting experience was totally different.
Okay.
So as I went ahead and started rounding out my education in my last semester, I started tapping into the recruiting scene.
Awesome.
And I want to shout out one of the ways I got my first job was NAREPE. So NAREPE is a professional organization, and there was a lady at the time named Zoe Hughes. So I want to shout her out, Zoe. Appreciate her and the NAREPE team at the time. But they had the way I got my first gig or experience was that organization and attending their events.
Okay.
So I wasn't having a lot of luck on the websites and the portals.
For sure.
Wasn't getting past the recruiters.
Got it.
But going to the events when people meet you.
Yeah. Yes. 1,000%.
And that's another thing. I don't know
Be in
where
the rooms.
you got to be in the room.
Be in the
They
rooms.
kind of have to meet you.
Yeah, I say this all the time.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my first gigs and my first introductions. And after that, I was getting interviewed by some of the top shops in the industry. I'll go ahead and name some. So like I interviewed with CBRE Global Investors. That's what they were called at the time. CBRE Investment Management now, which I was at CBRE, so that was my top choice.
Yeah, of course.
Didn't work out.
Okay.
Although I will say this, they did come back.
Okay.
Because I guess people didn't take the offers, which I found absolutely insane. But they did come back to me and say, are you still looking? After they told me no.
Okay.
And I said, I signed up with another group, which in hindsight, I should have went.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
we live and we learn, right? We live and we learn.
Man. You try to be loyal and thankful. So I am grateful for the opportunity I got. But in hindsight, it is what it is. That's how life turns out. Sometimes some groups or some jobs, they're not available, or they're not accepting your candidacy on your timeline.
For sure.
So anyway, they were a group. I was also interviewing Heitman. Out there in Chicago.
Understood.
So they're a real estate private equity firm in Chicago. They have a huge healthcare investment platform or strategy or portfolio of properties. So they were like on my top of my list as well. Yeah. And then there's another group called Northwestern Mutual, the insurance company, right? So didn't even know they had a real estate investment group, but I met them at this organization, at this professional organization event, and I ended up try to keep the story short, 'cause I know I'm kind of rambling on now, but I ended up joining them.
Awesome. Okay.
And one reason why is because they had an office in Virginia. So CBRE took me to LA, although they didn't want me. That's fine. Chicago, pretty much came down to the Chicago firm and the Virginia, but they were based in Milwaukee, but then they had an office in Virginia. So I was going to stay on the East Coast.
Okay.
So I'm glad I got that job, and then the pandemic happened.
Understood.
So I got my offer January 2020. So like the end of 2019 was when I was recruiting, and then 2020 January is when they were giving out offers and doing heavy interviews.
For sure.
And so I got my offer, signed my letter in January 2020, and I ended up staying at CBRE until I graduated, right? So like I was working at CBRE, and I already had the job for 4 months.
Right. It's like a shift here.
Yeah. And then the pandemic. Yeah. And then the pandemic happened, and I was calling them like, I still got a job.
Yeah,
so
huge
look,
transition.
as much as I say I probably should have went with another firm, I'm just glad the firm that did take me kept me during the pandemic, because that was a rough time for a lot of graduates.
Yeah.
So then I ended up after that. All right,
So you've worked across debt, equity, and multiple property types. How's that shaped your perspective to someone who maybe stayed in one lane?
Yeah, so appreciate that question. Another reason why I chose the Northwestern Mutual opportunity was because they did everything. So I worked on both debt and equity.
There you go.
A lot of groups you have to work on one or the other, on the debt side or the equity side.
Okay.
I covered all property types.
Understood.
Now they were heavier on the lending, the debt side, which was fine. I think to be a well-rounded individual, you want to do as much and have a well-rounded
Exposure.
because
Yeah.
my goal one day is, my dream is to be like a CIO, right?
Awesome.
And again, going back to narratives, you want to have the experience because you don't want anybody to say you can't do something or you haven't done something. So if I'm gonna join a platform, especially when I first start and get my first institutional job, I'm gonna join one that gives me the most exposure to the most strategies and the most property types.
Yeah.
So that later on, when I'm interviewing for jobs or doing something, I don't get, hit with the, oh, you didn't do, oh, you haven't had, oh, you don't know.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not trying to sound crazy. I'm just saying that's the mindset you have to go in when you're coming from a certain place in life.
Absolutely. You've diversified your portfolio and your experience level, and going from a place of, I don't even know how I'm going to get into this industry, to I'm fully exposed to this industry.
Exactly.
In multiple facets. So that's awesome for you, man.
So that's why I joined the group, because they did acquisitions, JV equity developments with some of the biggest developers in the world. Obviously in the US, but they're like global players.
Understood.
And I could drop names, but I'll save that for later. And then as well as they did debt strategies on the lending side.
Okay.
And as well as on the JV equity development deals, they brought in the debt and the equity. So I was able to draft contracts or draft loan applications, as well as MOUs for acquisitions, PSAs. We did office, all the property types, and they did healthcare as well.
Understood.
So again, just rounding out myself to be the best candidate I can be, because I'm always defending for that, right? And that's just like where
You've built an impressive resume, man.
yeah, I know that for sure, and that was all very intentional and purposeful, and that's because I just have really big goals and aspirations. So yeah.
Okay, what drew you to more entrepreneurial acquisitions?
Okay, so I spent 3 years. So this is my second career. I spent 3 years at CBRE, a little under 3 years, but right about 3 years at CBRE. Was a licensed appraisal trainee.
Okay.
So I took all the courses, passed them, and could have worked towards an MAI after a few more years or whatever. But I didn't want to do that as a career appraiser. Got done grad school, which I was in for 5 years, and then I joined Northwestern Mutual, which I stayed there for 4 years. So there's another nuance about careers where you can get pigeonholed, or if you stay too long in certain things, and then you can get age out of certain roles.
Okay.
And so unfortunately, fortunately, I had a job throughout the pandemic. But then there was something that happened in 2022 where the Federal Reserve, increased interest rates at the highest that has been as fast as that has been in years. So that kind of, stalled the transaction market.
Understood.
And as well as the company I was at stopped doing acquisitions and was leaning into the lending, which is fine. I don't mind. That's a great experience.
Yeah.
But again, always playing on the defensive. I said, if I stay on this platform for too long and kind of wait out the market, then I felt like I was going to get pigeonholed into a strategy, and then it comes a double sword. A double-edged sword. If you stay too long, you have a seat, which is good.
Yeah.
But then if you wait till the market gets better, which may not happen for another 2 years, then you are what you are. Especially if you've been there for like 6, 7, 8 years.
You're in that lane.
That's what you are.
Yep.
Right. And whether you like it or not, it's almost like being like typecasted. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah. So if you want to play gangster roles all day, don't be mad when you try to do something you could win an Oscar on.
Right. Yep. They come there.
And I don't think they're gonna make another Training Day movie. So that Denzel got that one.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so you have to be careful about that. So I went ahead and just pulled the trigger. I left on my own terms, and I started doing some consulting.
Okay.
And right now I'm helping out private capital investors do acquisitions. Right now, mainly on the industrial side, because that's like a darling property type within the industry.
Right.
But also some multifamily, some healthcare stuff as well. And as well as, hoping something turns into maybe an institutional opportunity, or through introductions or just more work, turns into my next main role.
Yeah.
And when that time does come and somebody asks me, well, what have you done? I can say, oh, well, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. And even if it's on a smaller level,
Yeah.
at least you're doing it. At least you're doing the acquisitions. At least you're doing getting
Still
the
in the
reps.
game.
At least you can have somebody like, oh yeah, no, Nylz Reyes like helped me
Yeah.
acquire 3 properties.
Exactly.
And so again, just making sure all your boxes are checked.